Hello everyone, welcome to Movie Talk. Today I'm going to be talking about Dune Part 2, and I know I'm a bit late because Dune Part 2 has been out for probably just 2 weeks now, but I've recently watched and I didn't want to mix up this video with the Oscars video. So I'm here to talk about Dune. I've just watched, just for reckon, just a bit of context. I went to an IMAX theater and the room was absolutely full. This movie is going to make an absolutely humongous box office. And I came out of the IMAX wanting more because spoilers alert. No, I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but spoiler alert that this movie doesn't really have an ending. Well, it's a better ending than the first movie because the first movie really didn't have an ending, but this one has a conclusion with the arc of the character, but not with the whole story of the universe that is presented to us. But we'll get on to that. Paul Atreides joins Chani and the Fremen as he seeks revenge against the conspirators who destroys his family. A spiritual, mystical, and martial journey begins to become Muad'Dib while trying to prevent the horrible but inevitable future he witnessed. Paul Atreides sees a holy war on his behalf, spreading throughout the known universe. Facing a choice between the love of his life and the fate of the universe, Paul must avoid the terrible future that only he can predict. If everything goes as planned, he can guide humanity into a promising future. First things first, I forgot to say that this movie is directed by Denis Villeneuve, also written by Denis Villeneuve and another guy that has written some weird movies like Doctor Strange and Passengers. He was also the writer of Dune. This is a Denis Villeneuve movie, and I haven't watched all of his movies. I have watched really few of his movies, to be honest. I have watched Arrival and Prisoners and Dune, of course, the two movies. But I'm not. I haven't watched all of his movies, as I've said. So I don't really know Denis Villeneuve as much as other people. I still have to watch some of his movies, like Blade Runner, Sicario, Incendious. But well, I'll get on to that. As I've said in the beginning, this movie doesn't really have an ending. It's a more complete ending than the first movie because everyone knows that in the first movie, Denis Villeneuve just wanted to create the world, create the universe, present as the world. And I'm very happy that he decided to make that choice because this movie we can really focus on the plot and on the action. And if he had not made the first movie just to present us the world, it would have been really different, the second one. So we already know everything. We already know who the Arcanans are, why Paul Atreides is in Arrakis, why everything is happening, basically, who everyone is, so we don't have to waste any time presenting new characters, basically. And that's a really fortunate decision that Denis Villeneuve did, that now we only need to really focus on the plot and focus on the action, and oh boy, this movie has action. This movie was one of the few, like really few movies that was completely shot on an IMAX camera. It wasn't 70 millimeters, it was digital IMAX because it would have been impossible to shoot a whole movie in 70 millimeters because of the noise, because it would have costed a lot more than $190 million that was the budget of this film, and it was just going to be really hard to carry a camera, an IMAX camera of that size. So, but it's still an amazing image, amazing cinematography that we have here. It's a digital IMAX camera, so it's not as good as a 70 millimeter as film, literally, but in digital I think that it's still amazing. The photography, like the camera is still really great. Like, it doesn't have to be film, it can be digital, it's still great. And I have to say that Greg Fraser, that is the cinematographer of this film, this guy is such a goat. I have to say, this guy, as I'm seeing right here, he has made the Batman, he has made both Dune movies, he has made The Creator, Rogue One. Yeah, that's pretty much it of famous movies. He is so good. He makes I'm not remembering correctly. I don't think the first Dune movie was entirely shot in an IMAX. Probably was made like Christopher Nolan shoots his movies. He makes an amazing job here. Like I was watching it in IMAX, and unfortunately I didn't get a really good seat, so I didn't get the best experiences I could have gotten, unfortunately. But it's still amazing watching Dune on an IMAX. It's so good. Every single shot it looks like it could have been a wallpaper. Every single shot in Dune looks like it could have been a wallpaper. I have like 10 shots on my mind. If someone asks me what was the best shot of the movie, I couldn't answer that. I would have really to think about it because every single shot is amazing. Like, I don't know how they've done this. I don't know how Denis Villeneuve, how Greg Fraser did this, but it is absolutely amazing. Not just the cinematography, of course, every technical achievement here is amazing, absolutely impeccable. Like sound, visual effects, production design, everything is amazing here. I am so glad that this movie wasn't released in 2023 because it would have been a battle and a half in the Oscars, and I want Oppenheimer to win everything. I've said that in my previous video, but if this movie was released in 2023, it would have taken a lot of awards. One thing that I wasn't really expecting in this movie was Timothe Chalamet performance because I have seen him in some movies. I watched Wonka, I watched the first Dune. I know he was in You Call Me By Your Name. I didn't watch that movie. So I just have the experience of Dune and Wonka, and I believe that from those two movies, I felt like he was a decent actor, nothing special, especially because I didn't really enjoy Wonka. Not just because of the performance, but because of a lot of other stuff. So I was having a feeling that he was an alright actor, towards the good, but not anything amazing. And in the first half of Dune Part 2, we had the same Paul Atreides as we had in the first movie. And that was the reason that I was thinking that Timothée Chalamet wasn't a great actor. I think that Paul Atreides doesn't have much to do in these two movies. Like, I don't think Timothée Chalamet needs to act anything special in the first movie and in the first half of Dune Part 2. But then the second half, the character basically changes completely. He has an amazing speech. He really delivers in this movie. I wasn't expecting that. Towards the end, when he makes that final battle, it's really great what they did technically in that battle. Like, no soundtrack, just the sound of them breathing, them getting hurt, the punches and all kind of stuff. It was really well directed, that scene, of course. And Timothée Chalamet really delivers a good performance when he is in that final battle scene, not just while battling, because you can't really see the acting. Probably was a stunt double, of course. But what I want to say is that when he's speaking to the Emperor, and he is when he is making the speech with the Fremen, showing them that he is Lisan Al Gaib, I believe that is one of the best performances that Timothée Chalamet has ever done. I don't think he is essentially a great actor. Like, he's good and all, but I don't think he's great. But in this movie, he really delivers. I think that's the influence of a great director, that is Denis Villeneuve. Talking about him, Denis Villeneuve, he is so good. He is an amazing director. He is basically I don't want to say he's the next Christopher Nolan because they are in the same generation. But what I'm trying to say, what I mean by this, is that he is really into science fiction. And as we see, Nolan is also into science fiction. I'm just saying this because, yeah, I don't really know. They started more or less at the same point, and they are in the same generation. They are making movies. But what I'm trying to say is that Nolan is more mainstream, and I think that Nolan is the guy that is in the science fiction area, and Denis Villeneuve is also in the science fiction area. So, well, I don't know what I'm trying really to say here, but I feel like they are both two great directors, and I feel like both of them should get Oscars in the future. Of course, Nolan already got, and I believe that Dune Part 2 is going to be in the Oscars for the 2025 season. Well, 2024 season, 2025 Oscars. That's what I'm trying to say. And like, it's an amazing movie. If you go to Letterbox, like you see that the majority of people are putting 10 out of 10 to this movie. You go to see critics talk about it, it's 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. It's an amazing movie. I can't say much about the plot because I haven't read the books. So what I saw there was great. I loved watching what I did. People are talking about that there were characters that should have been in the movie that weren't. That people talking about the different personality that Chani has in this movie that is completely different from the book. And what I've heard is that Chani in the book wasn't it didn't really have a personality. It was just supporting Paul. But I quite like and quite enjoy what they did with Chani. I think they bring levels, bring more development to the character, and I just feel that that's better than it could have been the book. I haven't read the book, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But from what I've heard, it looks like in the movie is better. If they've done an adaptation of the book literally, I don't think it would have been that great. For Dune Part 2, I give a 10 out of 10. Yeah, I loved the movie. I absolutely loved Dune. Probably I'm under the influence of watching on an IMAX because the experience was great. The sound on an IMAX is so good. The cinematography, like IMAX is great. Every single movie, if you go to an IMAX, you're going to enjoy more probably. And I mean, if even if I didn't watch on an IMAX, just watching on a regular cinema, I would have probably liked it the same ways. Maybe not a 10 out of 10, maybe a 9 out of 10, but I don't know. It's hard to say. So go watch this movie and form your own opinion, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.